one of the areas James and I have talked about on the show a good bit over the years is loaning friends and family money. You were telling me a story that you did that not long ago.
When you say not long ago, you mean August.
Okay.
Yeah. My cousin's been working in the restaurant and bar industry for 10-something years. And she's always been like a manager or whatever. But finally, her and her significant other decided that they're going to save up their money and open their own place. And so they opened it when? Well, opening day was scheduled for March.
Wow.
Yeah. So is there a worse year to open a new place than 2020?
2020 is like the worst year.
Yeah, probably not. So she was rope-a-doping. She was going through her savings. And she says, listen, they're going to allow us to open next week, but I'm not going to have any employees show up if I don't pay some of these people. And so now we're down to the family and friends begging part. And she's like, I promise this is just a loan. I'll pay you back as soon as I can. I'm like, it's August of 2020. I'm loaning a restaurant money. I'm not getting any of this back. There's a 0% chance of getting this back. So that's the attitude I had going in there. And then lo and behold, she actually paid me back about 2 weeks ago. And so this was just found money as far as I'm concerned.
Well, one of the reasons bringing this up on the show today, Thanksgiving is what, next week?
Is it?
It's sneaking up on you.
Almost. Yeah. It's in 2 weeks. We have
2 weeks?
We have a late Thanksgiving this year.
The week after next.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's this month anyhow.
Right.
So we're a little bit down the road from it. And you ever been to Thanksgiving and have awkward conversations like religion or politics or talking about money?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably one of the more awkward conversation is money. And perhaps a family member has a great idea, needs some money or early funding to get a business off the ground. And they put you in a situation. It's like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting that to happen. According to a 2019 survey by Bankrate, 60% of Americans have helped a friend or family member by lending them money, expecting to get paid back. Of those respondents, 37% reported on losing money, and 21% said that the personal relationship was worsened.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, another recent study by Capital Group found that Americans felt more comfortable discussing mental illness, drug use, problematic marriages than they do discussing their incomes.
Well, people love discussing problematic marriages, but I get it. Point stands.
Oh, so let's talk about the drama. Who wants to talk about money, huh?
Right.
Might be the discussion there. And just kind of thinking along those lines is, people don't talk about money enough. And with our kids, Stacy and I have this more open discussions about what's going on in business, not to exact detail. Now, the kids understand those discussions we have, and we'll give business conversations about some things going on or how we negotiated something and such. But I said, anything we talk about from a business standpoint inside of these four walls, but it gives them an understanding of what we're doing, what we're involved in. And it's not just it's like, when you've got a relative that goes to the casino, what do they tell you about?
Oh, the winnings.
The winnings.
Okay.
They don't never tell you about the bad times. We're on business and talking to family about that. I kind of think it's good to talk about both on how that goes there so that they have an understanding. And our kids need to have a foundation of money. And if you don't have no money to talk with them about or business experience to share with them, then probably shouldn't talk about it. But I think it's good to have that openness, to have that discussion so that you're giving them knowledge along the way of things that have worked well and things that haven't so that they can become better at what they do.
Reword it a little more accurately. just give your family and friends money. Don't loan them money as much as you would just hand
Well,
it out.
I'm
And
o-
if it comes back, it comes back.
Well, I'm gonna keep it in the context of how it's likely to be asked. They're not going to go and ask, "Hey, James, give me some money. I need some money.
Good point.
I see you're loaded. Give me some money."
Right. I get that all the time. They're like, wait a second, is that a 2006 you're driving? Yeah, loaded.
So just think you're having that dinner now. You're on the couch watching some football, and the conversation comes up in some sort of way, and then you feel an obligation to that. Remember, the 2019 survey by Bankrate said 60% of Americans have helped a family or friend by lending them money. And 21% said the relationship was worsened by it. And 37% reported they lost money on the transaction. So when somebody asks for a loan from a traditional source like a bank or credit card company, they filled out an application. So if they're coming to you for money, they may not have any other sources. So, because you don't have bank wrote across your forehead, did you, James?
No.
There. So lenders need to determine somebody's credit worthiness. And one of those things is the FICO score. And did you, when this relative asked you for the $1,000, did you ask for their FICO score?
Not at all. No.
So hey, by the way, I happen to have a credit app on me. You mind filling this out? No, but you already probably have a good idea of the borrower's trustworthiness. If they're a friend or family, you know them. So you have some idea. And here's where I'm going with this is a lot of people will have trouble saying no. You agree, James?
Oh yeah. Some people are most people are way too nice, especially when it comes to friends and family.
Yeah. They would have trouble saying no, even if it's putting them in a bind to do that. They're going to want to try to help in that way. And if the borrower has bad financial habits, you know they struggle or maybe know something about the debt, but lending somebody money could harm your own financial security. And that's where you should have the capability of saying, no, I don't have anything I can help with at this point. So think about it this way. One way to think about it is when you're asked that, go back to don't loan more than you can afford to lose, because it's one of the key things is you think of that. If you loan that money, think of it as gone.
Well, Gregory, people are hearing this right now and thinking, well, duh, don't loan more than you can afford. But we see it all the time. People say that, and they are people line up to get exploited financially by friends and family, is what it seems like.
And you think you have these, and where you kind of say, duh, I wouldn't do that. But, I've known business owners that have done this with a lifelong friend, loaned them 6 figures, and they receive interest payments for a long time and even some payments, and then all of a sudden it stopped. And then let's say, and in 6 months, the balloon note's supposed to be due, and they quit making payments a year ago, and they're like, do you think I'm going to get that money? No, I don't think you're going to get that money. I don't think you're getting any of it back. And part of that was retirement funds. So when you talk about this, somebody selling a business or somebody retiring and finding, man, he worked for Exxon for 30 years. He probably has a lot of money. But you got to think of your situation, and you're going to probably need this money yourself for quite a long time. And it could be loaned where it's a business venture that, gosh, man, if this goes well, I can really win on this. But what if it doesn't? On the opposite side, you have to ask that question. If it does not win, is that going to hurt you? And how bad is it going to hurt you in that case? Now, about the saying no is you could ask them to give you an idea of how they're going to pay it back. What arrangements would be made for you to pay me back this money, Doris? You know, do you have a business plan? If it's from a business standpoint, I'd like to see your business plan, because they may not have any of that stuff. And then the other thing is, you know, this is something I'm going to have to think about. But those other things I mentioned a few minutes ago, if you could help me with that, you know, it would help me in thinking about it also. But what you want to put off is, yeah, they're kind of wanting to know and they'd like to know now. But this also should be something you should not make a quick decision on. This should be something you sleep on it a day or two, or a week or two, or for a month, so that, you know, you'll get past that obligation. Like, oh my God, they're going to be so upset at me that I don't do this for them. Yeah, maybe, but they probably moved on and asked for somebody else for that money. So what we're looking to do is just like going into a car dealer and wanting to check out some cars, and all of a sudden, you know, they're saying, you know, we don't have the one you get, but if you'd like to go ahead and put down a deposit, we can find that car for you. What they're wanting to do is get you in a decision that connects you to buying the car. I was recently doing that for a family member, and we were looking at some different cars, and I wanted her to see this particular one in making that decision. And she was really liking that, but they didn't have what she wanted exactly. And so the salesperson came back in, and I said, you know, you don't have exactly what she wants. And I know you can search for a car. Heck, I can search for it too as well online, but I'm not going to make a decision at this time, nor am I going to put down a deposit, but we'll be happy to get back with you on that. So she continued to test drive, and then that model that she was thinking about was completely out the picture. She's decided, no, I don't want to get that one. So it's kind of working through not making a rush decision there. If I hadn't have been along, heck, who knows? She probably would have ended up buying a car that day and not really having what she wanted, but settled for the pressure in that case. So when it comes down to it, you know, one of the core things is don't lend more than you can afford. And you can also ask, what is it for? And like from a business, do you have other people that have loaned you money? Because one of the situations, if they're going around borrowing money, what kind of mess have they created in obligations to get paid back? Think about that. Did you ask that specifically what it was for? Or
I
who else?
I knew specifically what it was for. I got a little bit of details. I even got a time frame on when the payments or whatever would start. And she said it would be before the end of the year, and it would be just one lump sum paid back.
Yeah. So you're not going to take your relative to court. You're not going to report them to the credit bureau. And I think it's important to get a document created to show the seriousness of that, even though you're probably writing it off, but create a document, a repayment schedule, and also so it doesn't hurt the relationship. Another fundamental is accept that you may never get paid back that money. According to Lending Tree survey, people who lend to relatives only get back about 57% of the loan. So what that's telling you, you're probably getting some of it back, but not all of it.
Is it that bad? 57%?
Yeah, and parents who can afford to lend to their children, nieces or nephews should take this opportunity to mentor them or introduce them to mentors. If a child comes to them with a business plan, the parents should introduce them to their network. And that's why being open and having discussions about financials with kids and families about how that works, so you can teach them about the process as well. And I'll shift into one other thing that I'll take from this. When you're retired and you've got a lot of money and you want to say, well, I'm only going to live another 10 years. I want to start giving them some money. Be careful with start giving out money, because you don't know how long you're going to live and how much you're going to need.
I'm James Parker. We are Winning at Life with Gregory Ricks.